All right, folks, back to where we go. Well, sellers, they got their retest we talked about last night. And how about that beautiful two-try bear trap? Beautiful bounce back up this afternoon. Hope you guys made a bunch of money on that as well. Now, that move down this afternoon, it had some punch to it, didn't it? Right? So strong move down. We definitely have some retest trades on our radar for tomorrow. But I'll tell you though, once you see where we are on the hourly chart right now, we might get a V bottom reversal tomorrow morning. Get some big news tomorrow in the pre-market. Now, V bottoms, they are more difficult than all of our other setups. So tonight, I'm going to talk about how to capitalize on the V bottoms. Make sure you don't get fooled and trapped on the wrong side of this V bottom. So we're going to cover the entire roadmap in tonight's video. By the time we're done, you'll know exactly my favorite entries, exits are for Thursday morning. So charts are ready. Enough of the intro already, right? Let's dive in, get these charts ready. S&P SPY ready to go tonight. Nasdaq triple Qs are ready. I have 5 clues on these charts telling me where I think the money is made tomorrow. The first clue is right here on the hourly time frame. Couple things the hourly chart tell me. First of all, we know we're still a bull market overall. What it looks like right now though is, and we talked about this last night, is one leg, two leg, one leg, two leg. This looks like a deep two-legged pullback in an overall bullish trend. So one big clue right now is we know we're bullish overall. I would not call this a bear market right now, but a deep two-legged pullback. Again, this seems like the perfect spot for a V bottom running right back up to resume the overall trend. It's one big clue here on the hourly time frame. The second clue is on the calendar for tomorrow. We have some big news tomorrow morning. Got durable goods orders at 8:30 Eastern time, GDP at 8:30 Eastern time. The GDP number is the final revision, and so we definitely know that probably has the more punch to it tomorrow morning. Be aware of that for tomorrow. Big news, 8:30 Eastern time. Expect some volatility tomorrow morning in the pre-market. Let's get back to our charts because we got more big clues here on the charts. It's good to know when the news is, but the money is made on these charts, right? I talked about how we definitely know we're bullish overall. We got that beautiful two-legged pullback. We talked about that a bit in last night's video. Let's now drill down to our tick charts though, because tick charts, they make entry timing a whole lot easier. And by the way, this is a 7,000 tick chart. All the time frames to tonight, upper left-hand corner, and that yellow line right there, that is the 21 EMA, in case you're tuning in for the first time. I see 3 more clues, very important clues right now on this tick chart. One clue is the strength of that move going lower. Now, what do I always say? Anytime we see a strong move in one direction, we expect a pullback and a retest of that low before we resume the overall trend, right? We're bullish overall on the hourly, strong rundown. We expect sellers to try to sell this thing, go back to retest that low before we resume the overall bullish trend. The second clue we see right now is this range right here. Now, why is a range important? Well, because ranges, they like to rotate, don't they, right? They rotate down, up, down, up, down, up. And because we're an overall bullish market, there's definitely more likelihood for a breakout going above that range. Keep that in mind because we'll talk about that a bit later on in this video. And the final clue we have here is another range, that range above us. We talked about this last night on the video, right? The amount above the range, the amount below the range. We pretty much knew where this thing was trying to go once it dumped late morning, early this afternoon here. And now, of course, that range is a breakout of that range. What do range breakouts do, right? They like to break out and they like to pull back. So we definitely have to expect some resistance up overhead in that 02, 06 area. There'll be something similar for us, the Nasdaq, a bit later on in this video. So knowing all of this so far, overall bullish, strong move down, bear range, range above us. Like I said earlier, I love the idea of a retest trade right now. I would love to look for some bear traps down here. Let it pull back, bears once, bears twice. Use that same two-try bear trap, right? Pull it back, bears once, bears twice. Unfortunately, all we got on that one this afternoon was that 1-to-1 first target, right? Couldn't get that runner, but still a pretty good trade there overall. Same idea though, right? Same idea. Once it runs lower, trap those bears in, squeeze those stops, and hopefully they get more than we saw this afternoon. Hopefully it makes that nice strong run higher. And remember, where does the market want to go in a range like this? It wants to rotate, right? It wants to rotate the amount below, the amount above. That becomes our target. And remember, during a range rotation, I always try to add to my winner. We didn't get it this afternoon, a bit too late for this afternoon, but to add to our winner though, we look for that separation off the moving average. It'll barely pull back and miss the 21 EMA, higher high in price, and we're going to add to our winner just below that low. It's a 2-try bear trap. It's going to be an add-on trade, separate off that moving average, and again, leave that runner because you know where the market wants to go. Now, we know we're bullish overall. We may not get all the way back to that low. I have swings right here. I have swings right here. If all we get is a relatively shallow pullback, I still have to be weary of these bears trying to short that thing back down again. So a slightly more, a more protective entry pattern, a cautious entry pattern is a technical bear trap. Same idea. Trap the bears in, let them try once, let them try twice. But now, instead of buying relatively high, I don't want to buy above those highs right now because again, the underbelly of that range is right there. I want to be getting in underneath one of those prior swings. This is a very small but important detail here, right? And again, we know that strong run down wants to retest, so a bit more cautious, a bit more selective entry. It's a technical bear trap like I teach in our free video classes. And again, if I start seeing that bear trap start to squeeze and we start seeing separation off that moving average, I will definitely look for a way to add to my winner with that separation, that higher high, and that bear trap right below it. One thing I do want to talk about here, one variation of these I want to talk about in a moment too. We'll talk about if we get that run going higher here, because that can be one of the trickier ones. We're going to cover that a bit later here on the Nasdaq. But one thing I want you to remember is, we know those bears are trying to retest that low. I'd like to look for a bear trap down here, squeeze some stops, and run back higher. But you know what, guys? Sometimes we don't get that bear trap. Sometimes it'll run lower and just whoop and run right back up again. And sometimes it's tough to get that bear trap down there. If it bounces hard off of that low, I'll make a small adjustment. I'm going to draw a trend line off the highs. I'm going to bring that trend line down around that low. That makes a new channel, right? Now, here's the key. Look left, find some prior swings, and the goal is I want to grab a technical bear trap below that prior swing. This could also be a 2-try bear trap. Really, any of the entry patterns I teach in the free video course, you can trade. The key is that whether it's a technical bear trap or a 2-try bear trap or a pullback setup or a strength trade, the key is I want to buy the first test off the low of that channel. That's always the most important factor if it bounces hard up off that low. So now you know 3 different trades I'm watching for tomorrow. The retest trade, the shallow move lower, and the bounce hard off of that low. I want to talk about now if we go higher. Because going higher, I can almost guarantee you there'll be some people getting fooled by that tomorrow morning. We'll talk about that in a moment. Before we do that though, let's take a pit stop for a second. Because I know for a lot of you folks watching right now, you guys know these patterns already. You're making bank with these already. But if you're watching for the first time right now, this might be a brand new strategy, a brand new language I'm speaking right now. Don't you worry though, I teach all of these entry tactics. In fact, I teach the entire system we use in our trade room in my free video course. In fact, I have a ton of examples of all these entry patterns included in that short video series. Guys, the markets are way too good right now not to be making profits. So what I'll do is I'll put a link up top here for you, upper right-hand corner, hit that link that popped up there and take that free trading course, because the strategy I teach in that short video series will teach you a simple trick we use in our members trade room that literally literally tells us exactly where to find the winning trades each day. It is remarkably simple when you learn that technique. More importantly though, let's face it, we make our money by timing good entries. So I want to teach you my 4 favorite entry setups in that free video course so you can time better entries, get your confidence back in your trading, get your P&L back in the green again this month. Guys, if you're still missing the best entries each day, if you've lost your confidence in your current trading strategy, what are you waiting for? Hit that link that popped up there. Watch that free trading course because you're going to love all the trade examples I include in that short video series. The best part is it's completely free for you. Be aware too, folks, I'm going to put all the important links you'll need to learn this stuff down below this video, the description. Start first with that free video course. Most folks start making money all on their own, all from that free video class. So start there first. You're going to love it like everybody else does. And then don't forget, we trade together every morning, 8 o'clock Eastern time. I'll put trade room links below tonight's video. And if you're on Twitter or the X platform they call it these days, I post a ton of charts and videos and mindset stuff on the X platform during the day. If you're on that platform, give me a follow. My handle's down there. Again, all the info you'll need to learn the roadmap, time better entries, hopefully make a lot more money because of it. I'll link below the video tonight description of this video. Okay, that's where you want to go if you're watching for the first time right now and you want to learn more about the entry patterns I'm talking about in this video. Now let's talk about if we go higher here, right? Because again, this thing may V bottom. We may not get that retest. Again, we look at that hourly chart right now, you can easily see that 2-legged pullback. This could just whoop and run right back up again. Let's talk about how to trade that V bottom reversal over here now on the Nasdaq. Look at the Nasdaq right now. Remember, first things first is we use the higher time frame for direction. I don't want to get too far into the weeds on this, right? We're overall bullish. And like I talked about last night on the video, whenever we see a strong move down like this, remember, oftentimes those strong legs, they make a second leg in the same direction. This is not a bear market right now. We have to make a much bigger pullback than that. I mean, look at that pullback we had earlier on in the month of September, right? That got bought up right away, right? It's almost the exact same size right now. So don't let a second leg going lower. This is basically a 2-legged pullback off that high right now. Now, before we dive into the tick charts though, if you're enjoying tonight's video, please help me grow this channel by hitting that like button. Make sure you subscribe. I know we're all busy people these days. I appreciate you all tuning in and watching my videos. So as always, guys, thank you so much for the likes, the subscribes, all the ongoing support I get in the comment section below. And I promise I'm done begging for likes and subs here. Let's dive in and talk about our tick charts. Again, upper left-hand corner, 4,000 tick chart there on the Nasdaq, the same 21 EMA. What do you see right now on this tick chart? Well, first of all, very strong rundown. And again, anytime we see a strong move in one direction, we expect a retest and a move back up again because we're overall bullish on the higher time frame. On that same clue here, notice what happened here. That trading range and a breakout leg. We talk about this a lot in our trade room. We talked about this last night on the video. Anytime we see a breakout leg of the range, that's a measuring leg. So if we do hold that breakout pullback zone, now we know the size of that next leg going lower, right? It's basically a measured move going lower there. And again, that range overhead, right? That range overhead, what do we know about ranges? We know the amount above, we know the amount below. We knew that was coming, or at least a good chance of it today. And we know breakout pullbacks, breakout and pullback. So got to be aware of that move higher here. Maybe we're into some resistance there up overhead. We talked about this earlier on the S&P. I love the idea of the retest trade with the bear trap down there, right? And then adding on as we go higher. Love that trade here. We don't have the benefit of a range on this Nasdaq like we had on the S&P, right? So a little bit different there on the Nasdaq, but bear trap, add on going higher. And again, look at that swing right there, right? That'd be a great spot to run below and grab a technical bear trap. Bears once, bears twice. Again, higher high, get right below that low, nice strong green candle, and we are looking for that rip going higher from there. Got to be a little bit more cautious on that one, right? Because again, we expect those bears are going to try to take out that low. But now here's a big question, right? What if we don't make that move lower? What if this thing starts going higher here? Okay, so V-bottoms are challenging because what happens most of the time when a market makes a strong run down and we don't get that retest and it starts to grind and grind and grind like this, what happens on these V-bottoms is, at least for me, is FOMO, right? As we're going higher here, I feel like I'm missing this move, right? Okay, so the most important thing that you want to remember is on a V-bottom is to get in under swings. Get in under swings. That's the most important thing I can teach you with a V-bottom. And if we're lucky, we'll get a channel, right? Coming off the highs, down around that low, and we're getting in under swings. Now, in these larger V-bottoms, these larger channels like this, you almost always will be below that 21 EMA. So we're not going to blindly buy down there. What I'll do is I'll use one of those 2-try bear traps that we saw early this afternoon. We pulled back, the bear's short once, bear's short twice, and we're buying right into those stop losses. And again, like we always say in these videos, once you get those stops squeezed, if you start seeing now that separation off that moving average, we have to start adding to our winner. So it's the same basic idea, right? It's a 2-try bear trap below a prior swing. That's one of the most important things about V-bottoms, right? The V-bottoms back up in underneath prior swings. 2-try bear trap, add-on trade. Now, one cool thing about this particular chart is we have all those prior levels overhead. The Nasdaq, it's that 24,929 level. That's a previous range breakout pullback area overhead. Over on the S&P right now, go back to the S&P chart. We got this underbelly of that range overhead, right? That 6730 area. All of those areas are where this market is going to be hunting for as we go here. Now, let's talk about some variations of this, right? Because the basic stuff's pretty simple here. If we end up running higher overnight here again or tomorrow morning, the goal is getting in underneath prior swings, right? It's always where the best money is made in a V-bottom environment. Now, what if we don't get that V-bottom? Well, what if we do, but what if this thing starts ripping overnight? Right? What if it doesn't? Again, a lot of these will slowly roll higher. We find that channel and we buy that first test below prior swings, right? But what if this thing starts ripping higher overnight here? Well, if this thing really gets aggressive overnight here and we start seeing the underbelly of that range get blown right through, okay, the more aggressive entry now is going to be that same add-on trade, right? It's a shallow pullback. It's a higher high in price. I'm going to get in right below that low. Now, like I talk about a lot on these videos, these are the most aggressive trades we take in our trade room because of that half size position, quarter size position. You can do whatever you want on this, but I was go a bit smaller on these ones. The most important thing on this one will be, though, we know this breakout pullback zone right here is waiting right there, right? So I'm going to want to see a pretty convincing pop through. I'm going to want to see a separate off of that 21 EMA, and also going to look to pile on here underneath that low here. Now, one cool thing about these patterns is the amount that we break out going higher here. That's my measuring leg. That's my target. We'll use that as a target, that measured move combined with those highs up top here. Easy targets as we go higher here. And then one final variation of this I want you all to be aware of here is, what if we popped up and went into a range? What if we popped up here and then went into a range tomorrow morning? This could certainly happen. You know, we have what's called the PCE number coming on Friday morning. It's one of the biggest news reports of the week is on Friday morning. Wouldn't totally surprise me if we get back into that range overhead and we start chopping around going sideways. Now, remind me again, what do ranges do? They like to rotate, don't they? Up, down, right? We use things like pendulum swings, the amount above, the amount below. Okay, right? So same stuff I teach in the free video course. And again, I talk a lot more about ranges and the whole thing. I cover more detail in the video course. So if I see a range up here, now all we do is we go looking for levels of support down below the range. We wait for a breakout down into support levels. And of course, support levels could be a trend line down here. It could be a swing level down here. It could also be, by the way, if I went higher first and then back down again, I would use that amount above, that amount below, right? That will give me a level of support down there, right? That makes sense, right? So I want to find a support level below that range, then wait for a breakout, get into that support level, and then let that 21 EMA come in and let those bears, let them dig their own grave, right? Like over here, right? Don't pick a bottom. Picking bottoms is tough. It's tough to pick bottoms. I would much rather wait for it to run, pull back, bears once, bears twice. And again, sometimes these are one-to-one first targets like we saw this afternoon. Sometimes, a lot of times, they really, really rip. So the same idea here is the same idea right there, right? Rinse and repeat. Trap those bears in, squeeze those stops, and run higher. And again, I want to make sure that as it rotates, if there's one situation where you must let that trade run and you must get comfortable adding to your winner, I'll tell you, once you learn to add to your winners, it will completely transform your trading because you won't need to trade as often. Remember, if you want to make more money, add to your winning positions. Don't be looking for new trades all the time. Just keep adding to your winners. Once you learn to add to your winners, now you know you don't need a dozen trades every week to make a bunch of money. A couple good trades, add to your winner. That's where the big money's made for most folks that I know in trading. So it's that rotation trade, right? It's that bear trap under that low. It's that add-on trade as we go. And again, it's the rotation on the other side. And remember, do not get fooled if we go up into a trading range and go up and then back down again. This will feel like a reversal, but it's not a reversal. It's simply a range rotation. But I'll tell you, these are really some of my favorites here because everyone gets fooled on these ones. Bears try once, bears try twice, and that slingshot move back up again, that rotation back up again. And as always, if we don't get that bear trap down there, if it was to simply pop back up again, really pop back up and begin to grind going higher, again, you know the V bottom strategy, right? So mark a trend line off the highs, bring it down off that low, find those prior swings, and whatever you do, don't miss the first test is the best test off the low of that channel. All right, guys? That's my game plan, though, for tomorrow. Now, speaking of tomorrow, don't forget the place to be is in our trade room, 8 o'clock Eastern time. As always, I'll put all the important links you need below tonight's video. Start first with that free video course. You're going to love all the trade examples I share there. Then come join me in my trade room, and we'll do it together. In the meantime, guys, hope you learned a bunch this evening. Be well out there. Be nice to each other, will ya? And you better be here next time. Adios, amigos. Bye for now.